I sense someone who did not like and subscribe. Hello there, one and all. It's me, your Star Wars dad. The dad who goes to get the blue milk and returns. Hey, it's good to see everybody. Let's welcome our today's guest on Dad Talks, Ethan Smith. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, dude?
I'm doing very well. Now, you are also known as EIS Pack. What do you want to go by here? Is it E or E? What do you want to? What do you want to call you?
E is fine. That works, or Ethan, whichever.
All right.
It varies from platform, so
sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about this. Tell me about this Watt Tambor in your arena team. He doesn't have a Zeta, so how is that working?
Okay, so Watt Tambor, my guild. I was in the guild I'm in, which is BRG Younglings in the Temple. We started out as a low-level feeder guild for BRG essentially, and so we're kind of all coming up as one group, and so we are now pushing hard for Watt. So, which is why, if you notice, I don't have a negotiator, nor do I have malevolence yet. I'm about 50 shards away from negotiator, but we just recently made it a mandate to have Watt ready geos, which I've had for quite a while. But so I finally got enough shards for Watt last TB. So that's quite literally just I was experimenting with him to see what he was about off the bat, and I neglect squad arena, so
yeah,
I just haven't.
I think we all do it.
Then.
Yeah, at this point, I think we all do. For 6 years, it was the number one thing anybody did in the game, and now it's just something that's on the side. So, I mean, and I'll tell you this: I don't think Watt's going to do much for you until you get a Zeta on him. Just FYI.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But I have more. As you encourage, I'm finishing my farms first, and then I will go into getting Watt geared up and ready.
Excellent. I see quite a few farms to finish, and so I'm going to play the meme. So let it play out, my friend.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
You have to pay the price for this.
All right, I'll give it a try.
That's okay.
No, try not.
Teams. Farming. Finished. They must be. Okay, before we continue, I'm just gonna say Gear 12 Starkiller, Gear 12 Vader, Gear 12 CLS Bosk, Wampa, Gear 8, 9, Savage Gear. Alright, so what's going on? Tell me the story.
Yep, so Slicker Rush from the start. I can thank Arnold for that, because I started this account. Okay, well, I first played the game in 2016 and completely lost all momentum with it. I thought it was terrible, whatever, and just stopped playing. And then my cousin got me back into it about going on 2 years ago now. And so then when I came back, I just happened. The first video I looked when I started back playing was Arnold's farming guide, and it was you have to go for Slicker. So I went Supreme Leader all the way, and then during that time, a lot of teams got farmed, and then nothing ever happened because all of my gear and relic materials were going into First Order.
Yeah.
So that's why I have a very lackluster CLS team, a very lackluster Jedi Knight Revan team. And so after I finished Slicker, my passion project was to do Starkiller. I love Starkiller as a character. I love his video games, and I love the potential, and my dream is of him being brought back into canon, but whatever. That's my own little tangent. So right now what's happening is I finished my Starkiller farm to get the shards, and so I'm bringing his whole team up right now. I see he's almost to gear 13, and then I'll take him up to relics, and I'm working passively on Visa's shards, and then I'll get those all up to a relic level, so I have one full team, and then next is Jedi Knight Revan and his team, and then CLS, and then I'll figure out something after that. But it's essentially just me trying to recover from the neglect of a Supreme Leader rush at first.
Yeah, I mean, I've got first-hand knowledge of that. And by the way, I started the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren rush 3 months before Arnold started it, or at least a month. I don't know. Anyway, I finished it 3 months before he did that. I know that.
There you go.
Just for the record, I'm just a bitter old man. Just everybody leave me alone. So let's look at this here. You've got just trying to look at what's going on here. And I get the idea that you go and rush a Galactic Legend, and then you are recovering for a while from that. And here we are, I rushed to Galactic Legend right off the bat, speeding there Kylo Ren, and it took me till month 28 till I got my second Galactic Legend, just because I had to do my CLS team, I had to do my gas team, I had to, get the bounty hunters, get the executor, I did all that stuff in between, and it takes a while. There is no easy farming in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes.
It is not. And it didn't help that I picked Starkiller right after, which is extremely Kyrotech heavy, as the video you put out recently proves. And it's taken several months to get Starkiller.
Right.
And I could have had a whole lot of more viable teams during that time, which is partly why I have fun and struggle in Grand Arena so much.
Yeah, I get it. So, so you started the game a while back and then took a break. Is that I heard you say that right?
Yeah, I started a while back, and then when I restarted, I had no way to access my old account.
Oh.
And if I did, I can almost guarantee there was no meaningful progress on that
Gotcha.
account. So I started a fresh account. I think it was in May of, I guess it would be 21.
Yeah.
2021.
Sounds about right. So why did you let the game go the first time and then come back to it?
It was probably a mix of like mobile game fatigue at the time, busy schedule, and then just school being one. I was still in college at the time and had a lot of things competing for my attention, as well as other games that in my mind at the time were better. And I'm still not going to say that this game is a good game as far as game design goes, but it's a time waster, and I love Star Wars. So at this moment, other than Fallen Order and then the Jedi Survivor game, there's nothing else out there. So
right. So what are you looking for in a mobile game design then? What's the thing that would set it apart or make it better, or what are some better designed games?
I think the crux of it comes from the fact that it's free to play, which I get that they have to make their money somehow. The developers have to pay the bills, and so if it was up to me, I would love to see Disney and Lucasfilm put more money into making meaningful games. Like I really liked Fallen Order. I thought it was a well-designed first try at a Souls-like game. It was good, and I'd like to see a proper reimagining of the Battlefront series. The last two were okay. The second one blundered, but then I've heard they picked it up there at the end, and it's still, I think there's still people playing it as far as I know.
Yeah.
But I find a lot of mobile games predatory and forcing people to spend an exorbitant amount or making people feel like they have to spend an exorbitant amount of money to stay up there. And Datacrons definitely make me feel that way.
Well,
even though I have nothing to do with them. But.
Yeah. Do Datacrons impact you at all right now in the game? What's the effect of not having Datacrons having on you in the game?
Oh no, they don't. They don't affect me at all.
Yeah.
I want to make that clear. Yeah, they don't affect me at all. But like I see that behavior of the developers to do things just to make people spend money.
Yeah.
It doesn't improve the game. They're just monetizing their balance patches, which frustrates me. And they're monetizing characters that come out lackluster, and then hey, look, for a small measly payment of $30 or however much a Datacron costs, you too can unlock the full power of Hondo. So.
Yeah, I think I'm a little different on that. I kind of view it as, and I've said this a lot, if there are people that are willing to spend the money, then they get the money where they can, and then the rest of us kind of float along. And the reason we still have a game is because there are so many people that have spent. We talked. Remember that guy that interviewed with Cubs back a while ago? He'd spent $100,000 on the game. Which I can't fathom. I just can't fathom that in any environment. But that's the kind of person, the kind of player, that whale, that kraken that keeps this game pushing forward and allows people to play it free to play. And my thought is, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I look a little differently. Right now, there's never been a better time to play this game free to play or as a small, spend $5 here, $10 there kind of player, because you don't really have to have that meta. And I put a video out this morning talking to the gerbil. I don't know if anybody saw that, but his saying is chase the fun, don't chase the meta. And you can certainly find a lot of fun things in the game right now that don't involve chasing the brand newest characters they put out.
For sure. And and that's what, as a free-to-play player coming back, I look at this new stuff coming out, and I'm like, oh, that'd be so cool to have. But then I look at this whole backlog of years of stuff that
Yeah.
they've come out with. Like, oh, but I can also chase this and this.
Right.
And Darth Revan's close on. Like, he's my next big farm. I'm starting to get the character shards passively for him with my extra energy, and I'm excited about that. And then there's Malik, and then hopefully soon I'll have Malgus whenever I get 4 million GP.
Yeah.
And there's lots to do before then. But like me, I'm like, ooh, look, new, shiny. I gotta chase the Sith Empire capital ship. I'm like, no. You have Executor that you want to do too, so slow down, bud.
Right. I mean, that's a really good point, and you're kind of giving me. I've been thinking about this idea for a video around this run. You're kind of giving me a little bit of structure around it just by having this conversation, so that helps a lot for me.
Good.
Yeah, what's your Star Wars story? How did you find? You mentioned that the game is frustrating for you on a lot of levels, but you love Star Wars, don't have a lot of alternatives right now, and like you play a game like Fallen Order and you can finish it in a month or two or less, and then you're either finding your own motivations to play, like speed runs and stuff, or you just move on to the next thing. So, what's your Star Wars story?
My Star Wars story started. We had gone to visit some family that lived a few states away, and they had, I think I was probably 5 or 6, and they had the box set of Star Wars on VHS sitting on the cabinet. And I think for no other reason than I like the pretty box art, I said, we have to watch this. And I begged and begged and begged until they let me watch Phantom Menace because it's number 1 and you have to start with number 1. I now realize that's not my opinion of the right order to watch them, but, varying opinions. And so it started from there. And then when we came back from that trip, it was just kind of like everything broke loose and I just went hog wild for it. I watched all the seasons of the Clone Wars back to back whenever they were on air. I watched all the movies as much as I could. It was just kind of went off from there. And then like me and my cousin, who we still play the game together, we're in the same guild. And so we every time we see each other, we'll catch each other up on with, hey, I unlocked this. What are you been up to? And so we were with each other through that whole process, and we just kind of fed off of each other's love for Star Wars. And it just kept going. And then it kind of died off for a little bit during the break between episode 3 and then when Disney took it up. And I'm not a fan of the sequels by any stretch of the imagination, but I am thankful for new Star Wars content, even if I don't like it. I love the universe, and even though I'm not a fan of the sequels, I do love some of the shows. I'm just thankful for more Star Wars and for maybe even the next generation who might love the sequels being able to be brought into this atmosphere and this universe that I've fallen in love with through years of absorbing and just enjoying it. So.
Yeah, that's kind of my take too. I remember when the prequels came out, my generation was really put off by them and saying nasty things about Jar Jar and Anakin and stuff, and then you get a good third movie, and we all like that, but. And then along comes you guys, and when you guys are now adults, you love those movies, So I've given out fair warning on a number of occasions. Just get ready for 10 to 15 years from now when those sequel fans start creeping out, and maybe they'll find some things in there that will resurrect something. It's hard to see. It's really hard to envision that, but you just never know, because now I remember I went and watched Rise of Skywalker, and I went back to home and I turned on Phantom Menace again, and I was like, in the first 2 minutes, you have exactly, the plot of the entire thing, right? Like Darth Sidious is attacking you just knew what was going on right from the very beginning, and the sequels are such a mess all over the place, but who knows? And plus fans today have like Mandalorian and Boba Fett and Kenobi and whatever more shows are coming out, so they're gonna have a lot of content to choose from.
Oh yeah, and there's even other rumors of a few new movies coming out, and I think one of them is maybe set in the High Republic. I'm very excited for that. Kind of scared, but I'm hopeful, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, are you a High Republic fan?
I'll be the first to admit I don't know much about that era of the Star Wars lore. I want to know more.
Yeah, same.
I have a hard time finding time to read, and so I want to read all the books and get all the lore. And I own both of the Old Republic games. I haven't played them. I played KOTOR for a little bit, but I just haven't had time to fully engorge myself in that era of Star Wars.
Right.
And so I hope the movie is a good place to do that. I'm terrified that it won't be. But like I said, more Star Wars is just more Star Wars. And
Yeah, that movie is like the first Jedi, right? Isn't that what they were looking at? Something like that. And then
I don't know.
yeah, and then the Rey movie. But who knows? 2 years from now, they might be scrapping all those. That's how it seems to happen these days.
This is true. I'm very optimistic for the Ahsoka show, though.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it will be.
I think most of us are pretty jazzed for the Ahsoka show. So hopefully it's done right and done well. We'll find out.
We will.
Well, this has been great, E. So give me one little parting shot here. What would you tell players playing the game, or new players, old players, whatever? What would you have to give them for the game?
To me, if you love Star Wars and you want something that you can make lasting friendships in and have a semi sort of family environment in, and you don't take it too seriously all the time, I think this can be a really good game for you. Enjoy it. Farm what you love, because most things in the game have some use. And if you really love Ewoks, as we saw earlier today, go for Ewoks. And if you really like Starkiller, make that painful grind for all those Kyrotechs and go Starkiller. But yeah, enjoy it and make it fun.
There you go, my friend. Well, thank you for visiting today. This has been a great dad talk. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to see everybody that's here today, watching the videos, supporting the channel, listening to E Ice Pack, so the man by so many names, tell us his thoughts on the game and his thoughts on Star Wars. So I hope everybody has a great day. Enjoy your family, enjoy your loved ones, and always remember, Nooch too good.